going to work for APGA or not, but finally he has returned officially where he's going to work for the party. So we can say that maybe APGA now has a better in the kitty, because Ifeanyi Ibezi is back to APGA. Commissioner for Information is from Abatete, and the mayor of Idemili North is from Abatete, and then Okemaro to Island is also back to APGA. So maybe they have they have a better in the kitty. So these are some of the political developments we have now in this state.
All right, of course, we are not alone in the studio. The analyst, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki, is also here. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Chisom. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Anambra, Onitsha, wherever you are listening to us from. It's always a pleasure to be here. And it's just important to remind you that you don't need to miss this program. We give you everything the way it is, undiluted, unsaturated. But more importantly, I say good morning to God Almighty. It has been a weekend filled with different activities, political, social as well. And many of us witnessed, participated in these activities, and we're back to our sanctuary, as I always say. And just like Franklin was talking about the political activities in Anambra State, and then political parties who have just concluded their primaries, it's important that we're going to have senatorial by-election come August 16. And we're also going to have Onitsha North One State constituency. And just as he pointed out earlier on, the 7 of them, APC brought Azuka Okwosa, who defeated Obinoza in that very primary. And I know very much that Azuka Okwosa, who is also from Ihiala, I think if I get that correct, from Orifite. Yes, he's from Orifite, Kwesigo local government. I know he was born sometime 1959. He lived in Jos, Plateau State. And then at a point, he was once Newi North local government chairman in the mid-90s, during which he oversaw major reforms. And then we also knew he was appointed Commissioner for Works and Transport from 1999 down to 2001 under Governor Chinwoke Mbadinuju. Was also involved in designing and managing quite a lot of things during that very government. And then later on, I think he became Secretary General of the Southeast Development Initiative. That was from 2002 down to 2010 before its emergence as Southeast Development Commission, headed by the new MD, as we know right now. That's his political trajectory. He had been in PDP to APGA, ACN, and now back in APC. And APC decided to bring him as a candidate for August 16, Anambra South by election. That is the senatorial by election. So we're going to see how that would be. And then we talk about ADC that nominated Donald Shade Amambo. Know him very well. You know him as a barrister and also a former oil and gas executive. I know that sometimes I think it's called Okosisi Nihiala. So let's see how it's gonna be. Just like you pointed out earlier on, APGA would have their own today, but we know where the whole thing is pointing towards. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. We know where it's gonna point, but then we'll allow the process to be completed in line with certain provisions. But some of us have seen the handwriting on the wall, because some have recused themselves from the race. Likes of Pascal Abodike has withdrawn from the race, and even Akai Egwonwu has supported the person who emerged from the conclave primary. Oh, but then we'll leave it at that. But
I like to think that that is the procedure generally. At the end of the day, alliances will be formed.
Yeah.
People will drop. People will be paid off. You know how it is. So fingers crossed, everything is going to be eventually decided on November 8th. And of course, until then,
I forgot one important thing that happened.
Okay.
You know that PDP go back and in Anambra was shot in Abuja.
yes, I saw the video.
And Joe Sani posted something I'm yet to confirm.
No, he's recuperating from, because yesterday there was this very rumor that he had died.
That is it. And Chosani posted it.
No, but later people who were close to him were able to confirm that it was a false report.
It was a false report.
The video I saw, it didn't look like it was as fatal as that.
He was shot on his 2 legs.
On his 2 legs, and I saw him being on a wheelchair. On his, and I think in the pool of his blood. And I saw him bandaged and all that. So, but the point is, we'll watch more. But then, the rumor that he has died is not true. He is still alive, and thank God this did not happen in Anambra State. If he had happened in Anambra State, you know what the other side and many other people may say. But then, it happened in Abuja, not in Anambra State. So, nobody's talking. But if it had happened in Anambra State, tongues will wag and cheeks will also keep shaking. But the most important thing, it did not happen in Anambra State.
All right, then on the front pages this morning, we have the Tribune on our desk, we have the Punch, the Guardian, and of course the Vanguard newspaper. Starting from the front page of the Tribune newspaper, tough choices for CBN over interest rate on page 7. Retired officers protest. Ensure peaceful conduct, security IGP tells CPs on page 29. Why do retired security officials have to protest for things that are basically their rights?
The thing is for a long time, these guys have been asking that they should be removed from the contributory pension scheme because it's not doing them any good, and nobody has been listening to them. So now they have said to take the bulls by the horns by going to the street for them to protest. And IGP is saying, just ensure that you provide them with adequate security, because they got information that some miscreant plan to infiltrate the protests and then cause mayhem in different parts of the state of the country. So let's see how that goes, because I don't know why we always wait until people begin to kick. Yesterday, police issued a statement, likewise Police Service Commission. 2 of them issued statements on this same thing, but these guys have been kicking for a long time now.
Yeah, I think if you look at the statement credited to Nigerian Police Force, they say that not that they have not been listening about the issue of removing them from the contributory pension scheme, that it is something mired in the web of bureaucracy and interagency protocols, not something that is within their own jurisdiction that they can do with a flip of hand, that it is something that, though on interim it may not pay as expected, but patience will ultimately change the goal. I read the statement released by Temuyiwa Gujobi, the Force PPRO, where he made mention of quite a lot, and then trying to let us know some measures being put in place by the present leadership of Nigerian police as a way to not just to supplant, to complement this issue of pension. But then if you look at these men, they are saying pension payments under the contributory pension scheme, not just that are extremely low, but the retirees report that pensions as little as 60,000 naira down to 75,000 naira per month takes decades for some of them to access. And for many retirees, you cannot imagine the total retirement benefits. If you want to talk about it, they may not want us to talk about it, but we can go on to talk about it. Both pension and gratuity amount to 2 million naira, which they deem insulting after 35 years of service and putting their lives on the line. One retired ASP rejected such payment, saying, I cannot serve this country for 35 years and be paid 2 million, please. What a shame. I think one of them made that very statement. But then they say that these are, according to them, they said they put their lives all through the years of their service, 35 years, on the line. And in fact, they reached so many things. Many of them were amputated, many of them were shot, many of them, so many things happened to them. And they're not talking about
families because of the nature of their jobs.
That is just that. But the point remains, the IGP is saying that we are doing other things, that they have internally generated revenue, which they would also want to use to support the pension schemes as being practiced presently, and they have other plans to improve the welfare of the retired police officers.
The question, Tony, from my end would be, is this the right thing to do? Yes, the police force might have its plans to support, but what is the right thing to do for somebody who has served the nation for 30, for some 35 years? Whatever extras is barely an extra. What is the right thing to do?
I think the right thing is to follow other professions like teachers who retired. Most times, most state governments, we've seen situations whereby many of them are trying to close the gap when it comes to payment of gratuities and also pension. They are closing the gap. And just like I pointed out earlier on, that a police officer who may have put in 35 years comes out to say, why would you pay me both pension and gratuity about for, I think, 2 million? That what a shame that he cannot take that. But you ask, what is the gratuity of teachers in most states? And I can boldly tell you there are some states where the gratuity will be up to, maybe there are those the gratuity could be up to 5 million, and there are those that their gratuity could also be up to 7.6 million to civil service and secondary school retirees. Once civil servant from secondary school and in civil service, their retirement, their gratuity is usual. I'm talking about Anambra State. I sometimes corrected in the region of 7.6 million.
That's what they get paid first.
Yes,
as gratuity.
As gratuity. Now contrast it with a police officer with 2 million. With 2 million, and that's why you see them on the road. You can imagine. You remember?
Angry.
You remember? If you're a professional, if those serving, they are not allowed to protect. You know, they cannot protect. It's part of the oath they have taken. But these people, they have served, they are retired, and many of them will be respected for after putting their lives and also that number of years in service. So the IGP says there will be protection, there will be, but then let it not be something the opposition will hijack and start making statements.
And tomorrow you blame people from the southeast why they don't for not enlisting in forces.
That's these are some of the things they see.
You know, the thing is, just like when I read the police statement on this, talking about what they have been able to do, but I know that this very protest or this very agitation began since 2021.
Exactly.
For them to be removed from this very contributory pension scheme, and we have counted 4 years, nothing has happened. So that break recently has taken like 4 years. So how long would it be before it's broken? And by the way, aside from our governors, who in Nigeria earns a decent pension?
You see, but contrasting it to what Tony just mentioned.
No,
right?
it's not even. I'm not trying to compare it. And what I'm saying is, it's not just the police that has this very complaint. Everybody, nobody who retires from the service, apart from former governors, earn decent pension.
You know what is even more hurtful is the fact that take out the years they give in service. We are talking about the ripple effect on so many sectors of the society. So these people retire, and what is due to them is not paid to them. Some of them have children who are not old enough to make enough to take care of themselves and their parents. You know, when we talk about get rich quick syndrome, it looks like it's a problem that only the society has created. But I tell you something, the government is also part of the people who have fed this problem. Because when a child who is barely starting to stand on his feet, because of course there are little or no jobs, he's starting to maybe start with a minimum wage that is giving him a salary of like 110,000. Now has to also take care of his aged sick parents who has actually given their years to the service in Nigeria and should actually, by their rights, be paid their gratuities to go and take care of themselves and every month giving their pensions. But they are not giving the things due to them. The young Nigerian child they have made is now saddled with that responsibility. How would you not want that child to look for other means to survive? I am not justifying the wrong means, but these monsters we are making, they would come back to bite us in the back.
And remember, let's say this for those who are listening. When we say contributory pension scheme, there are those that would want to ask this question: what is contributory pension scheme? But then I know very well that it's called CPS, right? Contributory pension scheme. And then it's a kind of a pension scheme where both the employer and the employee contribute.
Very important.
That is the most important thing. And these people are saying, you've only deducted our money while we were in service. Give us our money back. Just like the system, as we have said now, both the employer, that is the federal government, or the Nigerian Police Service Commission, now they are the employer, that's Nigerian Police Service Commission is employer, and employee, that is those who are serving or those who are in the system, they contribute a portion of the employee's salary into a retirement saving account. And this system, I know, was introduced by the Pension Reform Act of 2004, if I can remember. I'm just trying to rack my memory when Obasanjo was in power, but it was later amended sometime in 2014, and then it is being replaced. Before then, it was defined as a defined benefit scheme, DBS. That was what it used to be called, DBS, defined benefit scheme, which was unsustainable and often plagued by corruption, delays, and unpaid pensions. Now, the idea of CPS did not even solve the problems of defined benefit scheme, DBS. It didn't solve it. So they're having the same problem in a different way, where those who could be paid pension as low as 60,000, 75,000, that's the majority of some of these retirees, they cannot even access it. Some, it takes over 10 years, 5 years, 8 years. And these men are saying enough is enough. That many of them have died. They cannot even afford their drugs. They cannot even do anything. There's no much they can do. The gratuity that would have been given to them to start something that would be beneficial, something that will sustain the family, these things are not fast coming, and that gratuity is also poor. That is why you must praise some state governors when they work. I'm aware that when there was backlog of gratuity payment in Anambra State under Willie Obiano, many cried, and it was something that really touched so many families. But Soludo came from 2018, clear the backlog. I'm aware that he doled out about 14 billion to clear the backlog to 2020, and then also begin the documentation of the latter ones. So what a governor who knows the need for prompt payment of gratuity is important. And so there are some states that are not even paying, apart from federal government. There are some states that are not even paying. They don't pay these people after putting 35 years. You know what is 35 years?
It's a question of our priority, because our president just returned from South Africa, where it went for refurbishment, and we paid 150 billion to refurbish
Franklin,
that.
Is it just about our priorities, about our sense of right and wrong? I think we're a people, more often than not, who have sold our conscience. Because if you have the conscience to know that what is right and what is wrong, even the Bible says a worker deserves his or her wages. So why would somebody work? You would tell the person, give me a part of your wage, let me keep back for you. So when you are old, you won't suffer.
Remember my next saga.
We age.
Do you remember my next saga? We had this, most times, some of these contribute pensions, they have been invested. It's expected that they will yield interest. But at the same time, remember how Maina, and then when he was brought to sanitize the pension system, and then he took away with different billions. Today, where is Maina?
Let's finish what the front page
corruption everywhere.
The Tribune also says that Tinubu Bakare revealed Awujale's role in June 12 formation, in June 12, and also the formation of APC on page 2. Withdraw threat to apologize to Obi Falana tells Edo Governor. Webo says security protocols must be followed on page 3. Senator Natasha, stay away from National Assembly on page 4. Vessels incur losses as debris litter Nigerian waterways on page 7. Obi won't be denied right to seek presidential ticket. The ADC has that to say. The rider also, that's on page 23. On page 4, party asks Tinubu to appoint ambassadors. On page 2, WAEC to release 2025 May-June exam result August 4. And on page 4, now fund loans to students hit 77 billion naira in 1 year.
Okay, so that very story coming from WAEC, because over the weekend we had there was this very rumor that WAEC has seized WAEC had cancelled the result. That is not going to be released, but WAEC is saying there's no element of truth in that. So let's move over to the Punch newspaper.
I wanted to ask you, are they jokers?
No, the thing is, people always find a way to create unnecessary tension by creating fake news and putting it out there.
But you know, in every rumor, there might just be an atom of truth. Now, speaking about fake news, did you see this audio that has been circulating about NAFDAC banning some food items, including a noodles factory in Inewi, Anambra State, that was busted and blah, blah, blah?
See, like I keep on saying, the thing is that I have a way of verifying my information. And once I cannot verify that information through that very process, of course, I don't lay credence to it. Take for instance,
I am not laying credence to this, but what I was pointing out is, hold on a second. What I was pointing out is this: two things that struck me when I saw that audio. One, the fact that it is not verifiable; it is totally fake. Two, the fact that somebody is using Igbo language to discredit businesses owned by Igbo people. Isn't it just weird?
Now, people do all manner of things for some reasons, either because it's just a sheer blackmail, or the person has been paid to blackmail a business or blackmail a person. People do this, but like I keep on saying, I'm just trying to refer to this very WAEC rumor because one, when that very rumor came out, it didn't have any source. There was no undersigned. Nobody signed whatever it was. It wasn't given to anybody until WAEC came out to say that they are even planning to release the result by Thursday this week. And Prime Minister of Education also spoke to that. So I confined that to the to the rumor dustbin. Then the headlines on the Punch newspaper. The banner headline says race to 2023. PDP's flag bearer battle begins after Atiku's exit. Check page 2 of the Punch newspaper. It has a right that zoning consensus strategy top Thursday PDP's neck agenda. Marking Debala I ticket. Beside the nameplate, headline here says Nigerians spent over 83.6 billion annually on foreign health care under Buhari. Convert that, I know what it is. And then this one says this day under Rise TV accused of sensationalism. First Holdco PLC clarifies share trading. Company alleges malicious intent behind media report. That's on Punch newspaper. Then above the nameplate, Obebelo slams Obi as a do movement. Obebelo slams Obi as a do movement ban ignites backlash. You can see page 24. Did you see the video of Edo State chairman of APC trying to justify what Obebelo said, saying that Obebelo was just trying to protect Obi because they hate Obi, and he even cited himself as one of those who hate him. Okay, we'll see. And then this headline says doctors to begin nationwide strike Thursday. That's on page 24. There was a circular which came from the National Wages and Income Commission, trying to bring down the allowance of doctors without doctors impute. And since then, they issued 21 days notice to the government to withdraw that circular, and that notice is going to end in about a few days now. So they are saying once the ultimatum expires and government fail to do anything, they are going to embark on nationwide strike. So let's watch this and see what happens. Awujale's blessings paved way for my 2023 victory. Tinubu, you can see that on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. NAS showdown, Senate draws battle lines over Natasha's return. That's on page 8. Zenith Bank emerges Nigeria's best bank at 2025 euro. Okay, euro money. Okay, so that's on page 33 of the Punch newspaper. So these are the headlines we have on the Punch.
All right, then from the Punch newspaper to the Guardian, where we see that a business report here, MPC quoting rate cut trade-offs as banks demand CRR review. That is on page 6. Above that, Edo Benue governors under fire over threat to Obi. Beside that, that's on page 3. NBA proposes changes to Electoral Act once Beavers IREV legalized. On page 3, IFA cancelled to sue Ogun government over Awujale's burial. On page 7, EERC revises Band A tariff from 209 naira to 160 naira per kilowatt. On page 8, State Power Commissioners reject Senate's move to amend Electricity Act again. On page 5, Tinubu Bakare Lord Awujale's contribution to APC political success. On page 6, Police Service Commission orders forwards planned protest by ex-officers of a pension scheme. On page 9.
Okay, interesting story coming from Enugu State, where the EERC revised the tariff for electricity from 209 naira per kilowatt hour to 160. Maybe we might begin to see other states emulating what Enugu State has just done to save those who are on Band A. Then on Vanguard newspaper, we have the banner headline. It says, why Obi and Rufai are yet to join ADC? Bolaji Abdullahi, that's on page 5. Bolaji Abdullahi is the spokesperson of the ADC. Then the writers on this story says, ex-PDP Governors Forum DG joins ADC. Obedience one party against selling presidential ticket to highest bidder. Omoagege has no plan to leave APC, but and then no ADC leader can inherit Buhari's 12 million block votes. That's what Kechuku saying. So all these stories on Vanguard newspaper. Then the faction Adele case negotiation hit brick wall. APC source, that's on page 10, they are saying that some APC members in the state are saying he's not welcome to the party, that he has so many baggages. Then above the nameplate, 2025 SSCE disregard reports on purported cancellation. FG WAEC tell public. That's on page 8. Governors, media chiefs for Latif Jakande's lecture in Lagos, July 23. Late Awujale stood for revalidation of June 12 polls. Tinubu. You can see picture stories on page 1. Okay, all right. That's on page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Turnover profit soar in oil companies. That's on page 5. And then I think that story on turnover happens to be the last headline we have from the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, then at this point, we are going to dive into the matter to see what is what, and of course make sense of all of these happenings, starting from the political circle. Largely, actually, a lot of things happened in that realm of our being as Nigerians over the weekend, with the Punch capturing this, or captioning this: race to 2027, PDP's flag bearer battle begins after Atiku's exit. Not also forgetting the fact that on the news also there is that report about the ADC flag bearer matter also being on the front burner. The likes of Kachuku are insisting on taking legal actions against the party. We keep our fingers crossed to see how much effect that we'll have in the coming days. But then starting or going back to the PDP, this story has two riders. Zoning, consensus strategy top Thursday's PDP's neck agenda, marking day Bala I ticket. Now with the race for the People's Democratic Party's 2027 presidential ticket underway, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's exit has cleared the way for your state governor Sheyi Makinde, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, and other hopefuls seeking to challenge President Bola Tinubu. The Punch reports. Reliable PDP insiders who spoke on conditions of anonymity confirmed that the presidential ambition of Makinde and Bala were well known among key party stakeholders. Over the weekend, I think it was yesterday night, I listened to Minority Caucus leader of the Senate and, of course, a PDP stakeholder. He spoke so much about how prepared the PDP is come 2027 and, of course, how they are willing to right their wrongs, which is, of course, would I call it the inconsistencies in keeping to certain laws, unwritten laws, I'd say, such as zoning. In the 2023 election, which unfortunately, I'd say brought to the destruction of the party. But I am curious to find out, Tony, if you think that they have learned from their mistakes, are they going to properly streamline things come 2027? And do you also think that even if they do they stand a chance?
The truth is that PDP is a coalition party with APC. In fact, it's in coalition with APC as we have it now. We have to say the truth and we have to be honest about it. Look at those who are in PDP. Look at them. The G5. Autumn. Buruburi Fanyu Guanye. You have Okeze Ibazo. You have Yeson Wike. Are they not the same people that are still in PDP? Many of them have been penciled down for ambassadorial nomination. And if you look around, Sheyi Makinde will be prevailed not to run against Tinubu. He's not dreaming it. You remember what's going to happen with this situation whereby many of them will pick the ticket. Many of them will also go into primary only to step down to President Tinubu at the 11th hour, as we saw during the APC national primaries. That primaries that produced President Tinubu as the candidate of the party, where we saw likes of Ababio, likes many of them, they went there to renounce their ticket or their ambition and then support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we saw how it happened. It was on the day of the primaries. That's exactly what's going to happen in PDP. Sheyi Makinde would step down, even if he would show some signs that he's serious with that contestation, but he will step down. Even Bukola Saraki will be asked to step down. It's important. The people that could have done some kind of strong show would have been Atiku or P2B if they were in PDP, but both of them have left PDP. So the people you have in PDP are those controlled by Wike. And Wike has not hidden it. In fact, he has not in any way overtly positioned that He's not working to deliver the president. He has said it many times that he's working to deliver the president. And for those who are in PDP, they have one agenda: to deliver President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027 by the time INEC releases the timetable. And you see how they work round the clock. They will deceive Nigerians with the mere subtles that they are serious with these primaries or the presidential primaries. The truth remains, PDP is in a coalition with APC as we have currently, and nobody should make mistake about it. Our own is to tell you some of these things. When we are telling you there will be defection, that many of them, as we speak today, remember the governor of Bayelsa State is preparing to defect to APC. Hope you are aware. As we speak today, the governor of Osun State, the dancing senator or the dancing governor, is also preparing to defect to APC. As we speak today, Mba is weighing certain options, but the destination is APC. If you look at the major political stakeholders in Enugu, as we speak today, they are in APC. The major political stakeholders, talk about Sullivan, talk about Chimaroke, many of them are in APC. So you find out that Mba is just in PDP, is on transit in PDP. There's no doubt. So we must acknowledge that. So he's making preparation, and many of them, once this election, for you to see those who will come to ADC, the coalition party, it will be some governors from the north. Some governors from the north. So if you look around, Wike has this grip on PDP, and those who are around, Saraki, Bala Mohammed, Cheyi Makinde, and cohorts, many of them, they are working in harmony. They will give the impression that there will be this primary who will challenge APC, but at the end of the day, they will work for APC.
So you do not think that there is a caucus within the PDP that genuinely desires life for that party?
They have left. They have seen the handwritings on the wall, and they cannot continue to be in such quagmire when the election is nearing. And the Supreme Court made it so difficult without pronouncing anybody as the national chairman of the party. And the Supreme Court says it's an internal affair. Go and sort it out. And many of them couldn't sort it out. And that's why some of them that are serious felt that we can't continue in this quagmire for a long time when the major election is nearing. So they decided to talk about the coalition. This coalition was as a result of the implosion rocking PDP. And that was what gave birth to this coalition.
Okay, so some persons in the PDP will tell you that the exit of Atiku from every party was like just like what they wanted to leave the party, that was actually happened. So for them, they now believe that it's going to open door for the likes of Makinde, which you just mentioned, and likewise Bala Mohammed, who has never hidden his intentions and contents for the presidency. But as time moves on, by the time PDP begins to put its house in order or begin to get its house together, we now know whether they are going to throw open the presidential ticket like they did in the last one, which actually causes some damage, or whether they are going to manage this time around, because according to Tony, the mood of the country is saying it should be south. Now that's number one. Then number two, issue about the Makinde, because you just said that he's going to dance according to political tune in the country, and that appears to have been confirmed by Ayo Fayose. I know I watched him on television where he said that Makinde told him that he's not going to be the person to contest against his fellow Yoruba man. So that seems to be that it could end up going that very way. But I want to look at PDP now to see whether it stands any chance of scratching anything come 2027. Last week there was a report that they were trying to whoop it to be back to PDP to see if he can come back and see what they can salvage. Now we do not have that arrowhead who we can say if PDP is going to fill that very person, they can bank on him for about 7 million votes. So would you consider PDP, or would you want to see PDP to go for shopping and see if they can get someone who can actually command some level of followership when you talk about 2027 presidential election?
You are just trying to force the hand of the clock to be anti-clockwise. They have chosen a destination, and you are just trying to say, would PDP want to have somebody who has these clouds to make outlandish projections for the 2027 presidential ticket, those who are holding grip on that party, they have chosen whom to serve, whom to work with. So why would they look for another person when they have made a decision within themselves? So you just confirmed that Seyi Makinde has told Fayose that he will not contest against his fellow Yoruba man. I'm just telling you, as we speak today, we saw that even Kefas Abo of Taraba State is weighing his options. And then he may end up in the coalition ADC. Likes of Zamfara governor, because these are still governors who are still in PDP. River State, we are hoping by the time the surrendered governor comes back, he may do what others are doing. You are aware that in the entire South geopolitical zone, you have River State and Bayelsa State as the only PDP state. And with these two men planning their defection to APC, are you not aware? Are you not also aware that even Caleb Muftwang of Plateau State, and also, just like I said earlier on, his Adamawa counterparts, Fintiri, are they not making their moves? Have you asked yourself this question? Why is Fintiri and Atiku not on the same page, even when they come from the same state? So, these are political permutations. What we do here is political calculus. The Y over the X. That's what we do here. And it's, most times, whatever we say here happen the way we say it. And I can bet you nothing that we have said here never comes out the way we've said them. So, it's a projection. The most important thing is going to be a battle between ADC and APC. And APC, we have PDP along with it. And ADC, we are looking around. Remember, most of these opposition parties, the factions you have there, some are working for APC, some of these opposition parties. So the point remains that just as some of these ADC party members have said, that it's not going to be just between ADC and APC. It's going to be APC and Nigerians, with this infusion that the North, they are hungry, they are angry. Mr. President made some appointment of late, and you heard Bolaji Abdullahi saying that will not save you, that the North is angry, they are hungry, they will deal with it. In fact, when time comes.
But Ndume President, because in that appointment, only one person from the southwest made that very list. Others were all from either northwest, north central, and Ndume came out to say, okay, thank you for the appointment, but also consider the southeast in your subsequent appointment. Maybe Mr. President is already thinking on how to win back the north ahead of that very 2027 presidential election, because like you pointed out, of course, it's going to be an election that Nigerians are going to anticipate heavily on. But guess what? It might turn out to be an anticlimax, because if ADC fails to fly, PDP is already crippled. At the end of the day, it could be APC just coasting to victory after all the razzmatazz.
Just like we have said here, there are different northern groups, Northern Elders Forums, Arewa Consultative Forum, and so many of them, they are coalescing against Tinubu. And Tinubu is making strategic appointments, trying to win their hearts back. And then you heard Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson of ADC, saying that will not save you. The damage is already done. And we remember we saw the cousin to Dati Baba Ahmed, who resigned his appointment, and we discussed it extensively at the point that when it happened, we discussed it extensively here. And he has been going around to these preachings. You know, one thing about the North, many of them are not enlightened, many of them, and it becomes very easy for some political jobbers to take advantage of that, to sway them to where they would want them to be. Yes, they have got the numbers, no doubt, but you think President Tinubu will keep quiet? He's not going to keep quiet. He will continue to make that strategic appointment movement. Before you know it, you will see so many developmental projects sprouting up in the North. You think he doesn't know what he's doing? You're going to see that. And recall, he has the resources of the state at his disposal and the security architecture of the state at his disposal. And also, do not forget that he is going to appoint somebody that will succeed Mahmoud Yakubu. So he has got everything working for him. Unless Nigerians say no in a referendum vote, President Tinubu continues to be the president after 2027.
I hope that one means it's not the son of Babangida who was also appointed.
Yes, he's the chairman of Bank of Agriculture.
Let us quickly
remember when we talked about the Trinity.
When we come back, we are definitely going to be looking into all of the drama, the Pueblo Obi saga that developed over the weekend. Do stay.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Good news and welcome to Winners Global Estate, Heaven in Ogwashuku, Amiocha local government area, Asaba, Delta State. Home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, mamas and papas, Winners Global Estate is here with a special promo package for real winners. Don't miss out in this laudable promo 2025, Heaven on Earth.
Buy, build, live, work, and enjoy. Unlock your dream home of reality. Winners Global Estate is selling fast. 3.5 million, 50 by 100. No more 7 million. Promo price. For booking and more information, please call
081 64 40 4098 or 080 37 44 3787. Winners Global Estate. Your security is assured.
Winners and Winners Global Estate. Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Opa kitchen de tozialo. Wendy's bread, Mama Papa they like Wendy's bread, na kitchen enyandu. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, Ninta. Wendy's bread, get it better tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your bachichoma. Wendy's bread, the champion.
Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Absolutely, the conversation is still on here on the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. If you're just joining us, my name is Chisom. Franklin is here and Tony is here as well. And we are moving over to developments from Edo State over the weekend. And so, at an event in Uromi, Edo State Governor, Monday Pueblo, said, Mr. Peter Obi, LP presidential candidate of 2023 election, former Anambra State Governor, a Nigerian citizen who has the right of movement and association, would be held responsible if anything happens to him if he comes to Edo State. That statement has received widespread criticism. It has had people from all places talking, making all sorts of deductions from it. And also a response has come from the Edo State government, calling what Pueblo had said over the weekend a caution because, frankly, you said, when you use the word hate is quite strong. And I was asking myself, you see, the problem with us is that we do a lot of things and get away with them because using such strong words, wow, quite interesting. We've heard worse in the past. Benue State Governor wasn't this, would I say, explicit with what he said, but he said something similar. Obi is also not going to be the first politician to get such threat, if you decide to call it a threat, or such warning, if you decide to see it as such. Because while some persons see it as a threat, some other persons say it is just a warning, watching out for a brother, or maybe not a brother, but then trying to also protect your peace and your sanity, and also possibly your political space. You know what they say, different territories are ruled by different spirits, and this territory is ruled by different spirits, so you are not welcome. But Tony, you saw all of the drama play out this time, and the ones that have played out in the past. What do you make of it?
For me, it was dramatic. I saw it as a comedy because if you look at where Obebelo was making that very statement, it was at a defection rally in Benin City, and all of a sudden, Obebelo declared, "Tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me. His security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him, he will take it. I'm the new sheriff in town." Now, these were his words. In fact, in defense of that very rash, unconstitutional, illegitimate, and also very disproportionately works. One, I think the handlers of the governor, when they wanted to say he never issued a threat, that he was just trying to let Obi know that as a politically exposed person and also as a high-profile individual, that there's need for security clearance. That's the first time I'm hearing something like security clearance before somebody visits a state, before he attends, because the last he visited, he gave out 15 million, and then they had abductions and they had kidnappings and stuff like that. And then even mentioned or cited Matthew chapter 6 verse 2 to 4, again, that public giving should be discreet, not for publicity or political mileage. But just like I've always said, this is pure threat. There's no doubt. No matter how they try to just oppose it or try to extrapolate it, it is pure threat, and it directly violates Section 41, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, which guarantees all Nigerians freedom of movement anywhere in the country. And the statement also is in total breach of Section 33, which protects the right to life by implying risk if his directive is disobeyed. I'm aware that civic groups, the Labour Party, Senate caucus, CUPP, and rights activists labeled the remarks reckless, undemocratic, and tantamount to a veiled death threat. I'm also aware that human rights activists Shade Odenkalu condemn it as emblematic of the tragic past in which Nigerian politics finds itself, and also why Femi Falana insisted that the governor must retract and apologize or face legal consequences. But the point remains that it was something that Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, he did his own. That was sometime, I think some months back. He barred Obi from entering into Benue State over a planned humanitarian visit. I remember where observers saw a clear pattern of intimidation towards Obi in APC-led states. So I have said it many times that way below sermon about biblical secrecy in giving, for me, is a small screen for naked political intimidation. He's demanding that Peter Obi, and by extension every Nigerian, literally seeking permission from an authoritarian state governor. He called himself a new sheriff. That's what he called himself. Before crossing the borders or the borderlines around the state, must take permission from him. That is constitutional blasphemy, executive tyranny, moral rot, and also executive rascality, masquerading as righteousness. He's now sermonizing, telling us about giving. I saw a clip flying everywhere on the internet where he mistakenly said he will give Edo people insecurity. I don't know if you saw that video. He mistakenly said he will give them insecurity.
That's before the election.
Before the election. The video is everywhere. So that tells about Obebelo. Obebelo's comment, for me, they're unprecedented in the brazenness, combining religious posturing with threat-laden restrictions on freedom of movement. That is very disturbing. Very disturbing. Ali did something like that and everybody kept quiet, and now that reinforced Obebele, the new sheriff, as he called himself, to come up with such kind of thing. So
what do you think could possibly be the reason why Pueblo would think in this direction?
Remember what happened in Edo State prior to 2023 general election? I think it will be Labour won Edo State. And remember what Obaseki used to say, that this obedient movement, if care is not taken, they will sweep across everywhere. That people should be careful with these people. That even in his household, his children, even the wife. So he was worried. And remember, when you talk about obedient movement, those states is one of their strongholds. They said Obi came and shared 15 million. What Obi said, he had no shishi. Where did he get 15 million from? He came, I remember I sent earlier called it political charity. So I remember Obi did his 64 years, right?
Yes.
And I saw rallies in many places where he issued a note that people should channel those things to less privilege. But the truth remains, these things these people are doing is even making the man to become more popular by the day. They don't know how to play politics. They don't know how to play politics. Politics is a game of interest. Most politicians are usually the same. Well, just as this saying, there is always a lesser evil, right? When you compare two evils. Obebelu committed a political harakiri. He misstepped. He was trying to preserve APC. He was trying to project APC. He was trying to promote APC cause. But he misstepped big time. You don't expect him to keep quiet. APC is his party and he must do everything within his jurisdiction to ensure that the OB movement did not overtake whatever he does in Edo State. He's already threatened by this movement.
Okay, Tony, I have a bigger worry somewhere because I'm going to do some kind of chronicle here. Because ever since Obebelo actually issued that very statement or that very threat, we have seen different reactions coming from different persons. Even those who are within the APC, some of them have also reacted. In fact, we have even seen Nigerians who belong to Diggers Association. They have gone to dig Obebelo's SSCE resort, trying to justify the fact that he's not fit to be a governor. We have seen that. But I want to go back into time because we live in a country where people open their mouth and make inflammatory statements and nothing happens. In the heat of the period of when Natasha Akpoti was having issue with the Senate president, we saw a sitting governor, Ododo, who barred Natasha from coming into the state to the point that she had to use an airplane to land in that state. We go to Bayelsa where, because of the supremacy battle between Nyesom Wike, who is the FCT minister, and then the governor of Bayelsa State, that time they were trying to organize a rally in Bayelsa State to welcome Wike as the king of PDP, and Bayelsa governor said that Wike cannot enter Bayelsa. A serving minister. Then we now go to Benue State, where governor for Benue State, how I said earlier, bad P2B said, if you are going to come in here, of course, you have to take permission. And Obebelo has copied the same, and nothing happened. Now, the first question is, if the likes of Obebelo and earlier, if they are covered by immunity, that they can go and they threaten somebody and they are going to be tried, what happens to the Edo State APC chairman? Yeah, I'm talking about this very man by name, Jared Tanebe. The video is there on the internet. He also went and addressed press conference saying, warning ADC members that they should be aware of them, APC members, that Edo State is not for them, that they have to leave Edo State for them, and now justified that threat which was issued by Mondo Bebelo. So if these governors are covered by immunity, what happens to the likes of Jared? Why do we allow these people, to go scot-free when they go out to threaten somebody's life? Because in every ramification, what they did is against the tenets of the 1999, is against the tenets of even the fundamental human right. Because as we know now, It's not on record that Obi has infringed on anybody's right. It's not on record that Obi has gone to that very state to incite any violence that will warrant the governor to say before you come in, you need to get clearance. In fact, even in the essence of it, even if there is crisis in that very state, does a former governor need to get clearance from a state governor before he can visit on a philanthropic motive?
You know the truth. There is no need for that. A former governor cannot, for any reason. It is not in any way in our laws. It is not in any way in our laws. Those who are making this point, the mistake they are making is this. Let's go back to history. We are talking about political intolerance. If they are curious, if they have followed politics very well, there was a time in Anambra State when even Peter Obi as a governor, if you're an opposition party and then you place your billboard, he brings it down. It happened in Anambra State. You, Franklin, you are aware. When Obi as a governor, he never allowed opposition to breathe. As a governor, I'm saying the fact. And then his tactics was through billboards and some of these things. These people could have related their claim down to, if you're talking about political intolerance, you don't do those things. I remember even when Obi was running for president, I'm aware that even Governor Chukwuma Soludo provided him the government house twice with no charge for campaign events. I'm aware. And then I remember he also emphasized that Obi himself never offered such a sex to him during his own tenure as governor. But the truth remains, the political intolerance is becoming too much. It's taking another shape.
So
what we have in Edo State, what we had with Sunday Mondo Bobelu and then I sent earlier, these two incidents are evidence of political intolerance. But I'm also saying that Obi had a little share of that intolerance when he was a governor. Billboards were most times brought down.
So it is safe to say
we must be balanced in our thoughts and analysis.
It is safe to say that this is a system that we all created. At some point in time, instead of dismantling it, the victims today fed it. And now they have become the victims. What do we do?
We must always do what is right. That is the key point. You know, these things, there is this saying in Igbo, "Wanementuare." There is no man that has no blemish. But the key point is what Obebelu did. I have described it that it is political harakiri. It's not done anywhere. And it has shown APC being a party with executive rascality. Honestly speaking.
Now, Tony, I've seen some obedients who have vowed that I mean, they're saying that, in fact, not that saying, they have begun this very petition, that they are going to send petition to all the foreign missions, listing the governors who have made this very threat, the likes of Alia and Obebelo. And their target is to ensure that these guys get travel restriction or travel ban. This is a step they have made. Then for Obi, Fana made a suggestion, and the question is: does Obi need to go to court for court to reassert his fundamental human right that he doesn't need to get permission from anybody before he can get into any state?
If you know Obi very well, you know you will not go to court. When the People Gazette published that yesterday thing, at a point he said he would go to court, and Renan Okore was charging him on go to court. I think he said he would go to court, that you are lily-livered. You can't even just go to court to say that these things were not from you. But he allowed it to slide. In this case, Falana is urging him. Some people are saying Falana is indirectly asking for job, indirectly soliciting for job, to be someone who will just go on to file these papers. But even when he would want to do it pro bono, that is without taking any money. But somebody like Obi would not be interested. He has the goodwill on his own part. And if you look at obedience, that are also accusing Obebelu of political intolerance. Some of obedience are also politically intolerant. Many of them, if you say anything against Obi, in fact, them will be sorry on social media. They will slam you. They will use all manner of unprintable works. And some people who have said that why they more like stayed quiet in all of this is because of the obedient movement. It's more like a mob movement. So I'm also preaching for political tolerance. That's what I'm preaching. My own is to tell everybody he's sane in one way or the other, and preach for political tolerance. Yes, Okpebholo crossed the Rubicon, and we must continue to chastise, condemn his statement. And one thing about him is he's just new into the game. He's just trying to be seen as the most holiest when it comes to those who love President Bola Tinubu. That's not the best way to show President Bola Tinubu that you so much love him, by dishing out such threats. After Hyacinth earlier dished such threats, he was following President Bola Tinubu to different places. They traveled to Brazil, BRICS. He was part of the delegation. So the point I'm trying to make is, let us tolerate each other politically, express our views without forced coercion threat. We can do better as a country.
On a lighter note, that result we saw, what happened? Did he use that result to gain admission into university?
I don't want to talk about his personal life. One thing we know, see,
I know that when we start for WAEC, of course, you are required to make 5 credits, including English and mathematics.
I made 7 credits, but I couldn't get the course I wanted.
Did you verify the results?
Was a D7.
Did you verify the results?
He deny it.
He didn't deny it, but did you verify it?
We were able.
So the thing is, Okpebholo, let me say this.
Or maybe he has 0 twice.
Let me say this.
That's just one result.
Let me say this.
He was born 1970 sometime, wrote work around in the millennium.
The thing is, the young man probably, just like Ifeanyi, late Ifeanyi, he has come out many times, or he had come out many times to say that he didn't go or join school when his peers were joining school. Ojewa boy. He went for boy and he did other things. He made money and came back to school. It could be so for Ebelo. And you can see he can see that in his dramatic activities. And that's why he dodged the debate. When the issue of debate came up, and then they know that he could not manage it. They know that he could not make a good appearance. They know that he could not make a good outing. There are some people that have called him semi-literate governor. But leadership goes beyond the words of letter. If he can speak his language very well, he does not need to speak English. I keep saying it. He doesn't need. We are the ones trying to enforce this English in our culture. No, if you go to China,
the problem we are having is this. For you to get a job, certain kinds of job, there is a minimal requirement expected from you. You must get certain level of education.
And besides, everybody in Nigeria doesn't speak the same language.
Right. So you must get that. So when you now get to translate it to political office holders, you see that it makes a mockery of ourselves.
I have listed American presidents that did not attend formal education here. There was a day I was listed.
But I think this is the difference.
They did not attend any formal education.
There is a difference here. These American presidents are from a place where the original language of communication is English.
Okay.
So by mother tongue essence,
our mother tongue here is
speak English. Our mother tongues here differ. Even there in a
what is our mother tongue?
We depends on where you are from.
We have
a lingua franca. Our lingua franca, different.
Our informal lingua franca is pidgin. If you can speak pidgin, you can go.
Okay, I think I'm trying to clarify something, right? Informal pidgin is allowed, but our formal lingua franca is English. Then there is the mother tongue, and for those states where they have different ethnic groups that speak different languages, he can't even pass for a competent person if he can only speak his own mother tongue.
But the truth is, for me, I have looked at him. When it comes to anything scholarly, he is far from it. Far from it. We have seen people who are not that scholarly that have come to do works, that have done marvelous things. We've seen them. But he is living what he should be doing and engaging in political destruction. And he's messing up himself.
Okay.
Look at his WAEC results, or the, what do you call it, the WhatsApp result, flying everywhere. Look at the video where he said he will give people insecurity, flying everywhere. And people are digging more, bringing out some of these things.
Permit me to say, because educationally, okay, based on what is provided for in our law, he is educationally qualified to vie for governorship.
Yes,
because even by the our interpretation of the constitution for requirement for you to contest for governorship, once INEC deems it that you can read and write, you are qualified.
Not INEC.
No,
once you can read and write.
In the interpretation,
no, it's not INEC.
Even when you can, maybe
no,
after.
Hold on.
I'll show you later.
The thing is, the Constitution in the Interpretation Act says if you can read, not INEC will certify whether you read and write.
I can show you in that. I can show you.
Let me show you
now,
anyway.
Now, where the issue is this. He's qualified in a different because the law doesn't say that you must pass your way. You must pass all the courses or pass all the subjects. Just the thing is, you must have so and so certificate. That's what the law says. And then, but the issue is when you contrast all these things, because for somebody like me, if I didn't pass English language, I wouldn't have even gotten admission to study whatever in the university. And if you leave the university and you're seeking for certain kinds of job, of course you must have made certain subjects in your SSCE. But for political office holders who are the leaders of the majority of the population, we see the kind of result they parade, and it doesn't in any way worry us. Whatever you come out with as a result, it doesn't in any way worry us.
I think the most important thing is this: we are actually people of letters, and we have seen that in many things. Just like if you look at provision of section 177, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a person shall be qualified for election to the office of governor of a state if he's a citizen of Nigeria by birth, he has attained the age of 35 years, he's a member of a political party and is sponsored by that, and he has been educated up to at least school certificate level or is equivalent. But then if you go back to section 182 and then the Interpretation Act, it says that most of those being educated up to school, at least to school certificate exam and all that, at the point it says if you can read and write. There are other provisions if you have also been able to be employed in a job that takes for a number of years. But I think the least is if you can read and write. Yes, just like you said, he is qualified. But my concern is that we so much prioritize English in this country. And I have said it many times, if you go to China, I'm not holding brief for him, if you go to China, and some of these countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, some of these Asian countries, even when they were colonized partly by the Britain, they hardly speak their language, English. Even Hong Kong, they speak their local language and their governance. That is why I'm so mad, even today. Physics, chemistry, these things are not written in our indigenous languages. If I had studied physics in our indigenous language, I could have understood it much more better than studying it, because you have to get the language, study the language, understand the language, and sometimes understand the implication and then the practicability. Some of these things, these are barriers anyway. But I know our fathers, many of them did not go to these formal schools, but they had wisdom, which they used to pioneer a lot of things, change a lot of things. But on the side of Mondo Bebelu, if you know you cannot speak English, speak Pidgin. Don't attempt. It's clear you have problems speaking English.
Senators want Natasha.
We almost speak Pidgin and then speak the one you're comfortable with instead of modern English, messing up yourself.
Can you allow a man exercise his freedom of language choice, please?
Well, you can't mess yourself and
is it your mess? Is it your mess?
He's creating comedy. Everything is becoming comic and people are laughing.
And the people are allowed to laugh.
And they're happy.
Life is so serious, Tony. People are allowed to laugh.
Pidgin.
Let him entertain them now.
Okay, he says he will give them insecurity. What does that mean?
Okay, I think it was probably a mistake. Maybe he wanted to say he was going to address the insecurity.
They even said he had issues with the figures, because even that 15 million, he kept calling to
1.5 million. It's not just about English. It's about learning. Even if you cannot call 15 million very well, you call 1.5 million, you call, see, the truth is, you don't just come out to make statements.
Senators want
just because you don't want to make
statements. To stay away from the National Assembly. Let's talk other things. And of course, we are learning that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has been wanted to cease from forcefully, that's the word, resuming her legislative duties until the expiration of her suspension. The court has said something, and the Senate is saying something else. Why is that?
I think the Senate obtained the CTC, the certified true copy of the judgment, and they looked around. They may have a committee on judiciary and justice, and they may have looked around and they said, we cannot cite anywhere there is a court order that she be reinstated. Remember, you have to look at the enrollment order of a particular judgment, and they got enrollment orders. In the enrollment section of the judgment, they could not find anywhere the court says that she must be reinstated. In fact, the court says the Senate should consider, that's the word, the Senate should consider reinstating her. And for them, if court says we should consider, it means that court has placed it within our jurisdiction to consider reinstating her. But the way she's going about it, for me, that's not the best way to go about it. And even most of the things court says she has to do, she hasn't done them, like apologizing to the court, going on with the satirical letter, and the high-handedness of the opinion that she should be reinstated, but not the way she parades everything arrogantly, rudely. I don't like arrogance. I don't like rudeness. Inasmuch as we know very well that your constituents are the one bearing the brunt, you should also help them by comporting yourself properly, by also acting as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even there is no item of anything honorable in any of you, but at least act it out for the sake of those who are watching you, for those who have taken you as a role model. But the key thing remains, I'm still pleading to the Senate to find a way to reinstate her, but not in the way and manner she goes about it. Her utterances are not good. Somebody should talk to her to comport herself very well, and then also make sure that Senate gets her back. You can. There are some battles you cannot fight. If they continue this case, it will linger on to the Supreme Court. And remember, last time we were here, if they had cited anywhere in the enrollment order that says that she has to be reinstated, I will be here shouting, Senate must reinstate her because you must obey the order of the court. But they are saying the words of the court said the Senate should consider reinstating her. So they interpreted it to be that it is within their own prerogative and jurisdiction to do that, even when the court says that lengthy period is unlawful, unconstitutional. But the key thing is the person involved. How do you comport yourself? You don't just go start making noise saying that I will get yourself in the Senate. What did Senate forget? Even we know we don't have good institutions. Even one I have said many times that this present Senate is rubber stamp. But at least you don't go about fighting institutions the way you're doing that. Even when we know that some of them there shouldn't be there. They don't even deserve to be there.
Okay, so I have two questions now before we get to open this very phone line, and the very first one is the contradiction, because the senator who is in the eye of the storm, talking about Senator Natasha Polity, he has gone to court to appeal that very judgment of the case which he filed, and she also applied for stay of execution of the judgment delivered by Justice Nyako. And it's also on that same judgment that she is still relying her recall to the Senate. So it appears as if she's working against her personal interest. That's number one. Then the number two is this issue of if the judgment of the Federal High Court has struck down a particular section of the Senate rules, is that rule still valid before the law now?
I think you asked if it had. It depends on the exact works of the judgment. Is important. It depends on exact word. If the court says that provision of the Senate rule is hereby invalidated, it stands invalidated. But if the court makes some statements in passing, dictum obitum, a court may says the judge may say so many things about you, but at the end of the day, in the enrollment order, those things are not contained. And now those who were in the court, the court said that this woman is wicked, this woman is poisonous, so this woman in fact deserves no mercy. Those things the judge said while making those judgments, are they contained in the enrollment order? If they're not, it means that those statements she made or the judge must have made, those statements are made in passing. They don't have any weight. They don't have any weight. The one that has weight is the one that is contained in the enrollment order. Stamp. People don't even know this. So a judge can make statements while delivering judgment, and those statements a judge makes while delivering statement, if they are not contained in judgment on the enrollment order, they are called statement made in passing. Dictum obitum. So it has no weight, it's weightless. So probably you mentioned, just like you asked me, and I said, it depends on the exact words contained in the judgment, whether the rule will be invalidated or not. So, Binta Nyako, I have not seen the judgment myself, but we've been hinging on what people who saw the judgment interpreted. So, that is the way it is. My concern is for her to have filed applications appealing the judgment of Binta Nyako. To an extent, it can also constitute contradiction in terminis. That is what it is. There are some parts of the judgment that she may not like, and then possibly she felt the need to appeal those parts of the judgment that did not go well with her. And now I'm aware that the part she appealed was the one where she was found to be in contempt of the court, where she was ordered to pay 5 million fine and issued a directive to publish a public apology over that. So I'm aware that she has appealed that portion where she was found culpable, where she was found to be in contempt of the court. So I'm aware that her notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, that according to her, she said that the trial court lacked jurisdiction to summarily try and penalize an alleged contempt committed as fasecure outside the courtroom. That's her own that's her own interpretation. That you cannot say that she's in contempt of the court when that happened outside the courtroom. But she failed to realize that the court said that no public statement brought in writing via the electronic means be made as far as this issue is before the court. So it was what the court relied on to find her guilty of contempt. But she is appealing that contempt part, saying that it was something that happened outside the courtroom as for security, without adhering to criminal procedure set out in the Charities and Civil Procedure Act. So I'm also aware that she argued that the court failed to serve or use Form 48 and Form 49, which are statutory requirements for contempt processes, thus making the proceedings procedurally flawed. I'm also aware that, according to her, that the judgment imposed a fine not sought in the originating application. That the fine the court imposed was it something that was sought in the originating application, meaning that the judge effectively substituted her own relief, contrary to due process and other things she did. So these are part of the appeal she made. But the truth is, the woman is not backing down. The Senate is not backing down. So be it.
All right, then this is the point where we get to open the phone line 0803-2216-973, 0803-827-6694. Put a call across. Let's hear what you have to say. Keep it the 2 minutes mark. Be as objective as possible. No name calling. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set. This is the Polity. The persons here are Franklin, Tony, and Chisom.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Please go on. Please go on. There's no time. I'll do well.
Good morning, Audio there.
Put a call across 0803-221-6973. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This morning, it's raining here. Chief Tony, good morning. Franklin, good morning. My lady, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank you very much. Now, Natasha, no matter the conspiracy and the gang up, he cannot be gagged. Then number two, I don't know if Peter Obi has become, a political threat, a security threat to some of these governors. Obi's shadow is so scary, and that is quite understandable. Some of the governors still have not gotten over the hangover of 23 elections. The obedient movement, even Obaseki, can you hear me? Hello?
Please go on, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay, the obedient movement, Obaseki was so scared in his kitchen, and sitting around, he said, okay, these obedient people, they won't let me live in my house again. No. They could begin thinking I would do that. And then, but this Obama guy, I don't know where he's coming from. After all, he didn't even win the election in Edo State. It was Osomole that won it for him. And he's so scared. I don't know why he's so scared. And then he can't even look at a governor or he said. And look at him. He did not even say that you didn't even know the difference between security and insecurity. Bosa. Oh my God, my brother, don't go near obedience again. Don't you dare. Have a wonderful day. When they come, we'll meet you there. True?
Have a good day too. Let's hear what you have to say. 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Wonderful morning to you, lady of the house, Chisom Chinedu.
Good morning.
Franklin, Dr. Olisa Mbeki, good morning.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Honorable Dike Kenechuku, reaching you live from Onitsha.
Let's do this in 2 minutes.
That's all right. Mr. Speaker and colleagues at the studio, the point is this. That certified true copy should be made public. And even if the court asks the Senate to reinstate Ababio, who is going to obey that ruling of the court? This man is above the law. They can't even obey. Right from Muhammadu Buhari, if you are talking about Jonathan, you overheard what Shetima said. That the president not even have right to remove a councillor. Yet we see it happen under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the outgoing president. So the fact remains that who is even ready to obey the court? That is why this our brother here in Fege Odumeje came out and said that there are some certain courses you don't study in the school. You don't. Like the studying of law, okay, political science. He mentioned various studies you don't do in the school. You don't even embark on it. Okay? So even if the certified true copy here see that Honorable House of what do they call it, Ababio, or the Super Robert Stamp Assembly of Ababio, reinstate Natasha with dividends, they will not obey. That is just, and Natasha knows this. The whole thing is Betty. So I think if she can force her way in there with people for her constituency, and let her be let loose. That is the way. If they go inside the gutter with them and fight it there. If they come to the pulpit, go and flog it out with them in the pulpit. That is Nigeria for you. That's the president bad. That is what they have introduced. The ethics administration. It's not far from what Obebelo is doing in Edo State. And there was a question that was asked, Mr. Speaker, which you need to answer to us. There are, certain marks you need to make, certain credit before you get to the university. How did Obebelo get there? With this result of wire that is flying here and there. So these things that you look at them, you find out that the man shot himself in the foot. You don't go about. Peter is no longer the level of Peter, even in Africa, in the world. Peter is being discussed. Peter is a man that has, all of a sudden, the other time, another state government come and repeat what he said concerning Samela as the highest tax earner. Yeah, what was published by another state government, apart from the bank, it was Samela. That confirms what Peter said. And the banks are there, is this set up by another state government? Is this set up by the federal level? So this things will tell you that the man you are trying to fight, look at the Reverend Father in the Benue State. What have you achieved by, trying to block it after Peter left? Everything, people keep,
you should be rounding off now.
What have you done about it? You don't fight a man like that. This is a man that, that is destined to rule Nigeria, to get Nigeria from the quagmire. And you don't stop him. The North is calling for him. Yoruba are calling for him. Fulanis are calling for him. Igbos are calling for him. So they should give this a chance and allow what God wants to do in this country, take place and not going the other way around. Thank you so much.
I don't know. I want to just say
explain that
a few things because it's important. I think what Franklin said, Franklin is right. So that reading and right must be to the satisfaction of INEC. That is one. And the second thing I want to say here is on the issue of this Samila, this thing. We are here to ensure that whatever we dish out is nothing but a fact. Peter said that Samila is the highest taxpayer, right? Franklin, if you can help me.
I can just quickly get the exact word.
Please get the exact word.
Yes,
and then you look at what Anambra State Internal Revenue Service said, that Samila is number 6. So now people are trying to make implications. What implication are they trying to make? That minus the other ones, they are not indigenous, because some of these banks, they have headquarters in Lagos, so they are not indigenous. So now Sabmila is the first indigenous. If you also put in it, Sabmila has headquarters in South Africa. Many of them don't even, for those who are trying to say one thing or the other, Sabmila is not even an indigenous company, even though it's registered in Nigeria. So he has a headquarters in South Africa. So context-wise, if he had said that Sabmila is one of the taxpayers, the leading taxpayers, it's understandable. But if he says he's number one, and Anambra State Internal Revenue comes out to say it's not number one, it's number 6. So you should also be bold enough to, correct yourself. I don't know if you get the exact word.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I think we can listen to it.
Because let's hear it.
The biggest call it revenue source for Anambra today is the library.
But you said the government stake that.
The biggest call it revenue source for Anambra today is the library.
But you said the government stake.
I think the clause there is that some persons are saying that he said the biggest indigenous revenue source.
Yeah, they are the one.
From that audio,
he didn't say that.
Indigenous.
So let's be honest. What Anambra State Internal Revenue Service, what they did is they came out to refute it, because some people will take it to the bank that they are the biggest. And that's what because
was that really necessary?
But it may not be necessary, but for public records.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say. Good morning. Are you there? You have the floor.
Yes, I'm there.
Go ahead.
Good morning, my speaker and others.
You're welcome.
I think the voice of Honorable Sukoye from our ancient kingdom.
You're welcome.
Now.
You're welcome.
You see, Tony, they have said it all. When you say that PDP is a coalition of APC, it is a clear statement. Because if you watch all the people that in PDP, you found that they are of APC in disguise. You see what I think they called Makito to come and join them. They will not mess themselves up by going there again. And we will never allow him. Because all of them are fighting for Tinubu. So let us watch and see. Coming for Natasha, I think she's taking this case very far. Fighting left and right, all this, both the president. I said that remember that it is the court that made him to be there. If not one of course, he will not be there. Thank you. This is where I'm dropping.
All right then. Let's hear what you have to say. Do not forget we are live on Facebook. It's at Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Drop your comment right under the live video or the post related to the show. The floor is still open. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have the floor. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning. My name is Barrister Abuchi Obatarugoshin.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to comment on the issue. I'm actually calling from Onitsha.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to comment on the issue of Natasha and the Senate President.
Okay.
Well, I wept profusely the day, sometime in 1999, when the military was handing over to the civil or the democratic elected president in the person of Olusegun Obasanjo. And today, the scenario that is being played out at the National Assembly has confirmed my fear. Now, I'm a lawyer. The Senate President is a lawyer. We have the clerk of the House, who is also a lawyer. When a judgment is being given, whether obit dictum, whether in passing, or whatever, what is the outcome of that judgment? The court, in its entirety, condemned the playboy, the Akpabio boys, and the Senate President did. If the court said that whatever that happened to Natasha is wrong, and the judge did not make any other order as to restoring Natasha, if the house you built on top of the high sea is wrong, you should also not wait for a compelling order to remove the house from the high sea. The order is clear. The judgment is clear. Well, I blame Nigerian Bar Association because if it is in UK or even in the American Bar Association, by now your Senate President would have been debarred. Even the person whom I saw his letter replying to Natasha's judgment, who said he's a legal officer, it is wrong. So that I think I will stop here for now.
All right then. We are going to have one more person before we go on this break. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Honorable, he says the mayor. We're calling this morning from Awada.
Go ahead, please.
What I want to say in NS is that I don't know, I've said it before, that the judiciary of Nigeria is one of the problems. How can a whole court not giving a straight judgment, telling the Senate to consider? You know, this is one of the problems we have. The case came to you to give judgment. Now you now hand it over to a group of people. What do you expect of that people? Also, I want to tell Natasha, the way she's going about all these issues is making it to be so balloon now, so God. That is not the way to go. I can see her going so pompously. And she's the person that is blowing all these things, causing more problems to his constituency. Then, Olisa Mbeki, you said something about language. English is just a language that one can learn at Yoruba. Like you said, that like chemistry and other things does not write in our own language. I want to ask you a question. If we should be right in a language, which language shall it be right on? Like you said, Hong Kong use their own language to do all those things they are doing. You know Nigeria, the ethnicity of Nigeria. Which language is there to write those things in our own language? Like I'm an Igbo now. If they write in Hausa, I cannot be able to read. If they write in Yoruba, I cannot be able to read. If they write in Igbo, Yoruba and Hausa cannot read. So that is one of the problems we have in this country. So I want to ask you, how do we do it if we are to embrace our own language and start using it to be a central language in Nigeria? Thank you and God bless you.
All right then, thank you for your contribution, gentlemen. We take a break at this point, attend to some commercials. When we come back, we head straight to Facebook to see what you have to say. Keep it locked.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Hello, Philip.
Guy, how far now? It's 11:45. Waiting shop.
I beg, no vex. My landlord locked me for outside, though.
Again?
No vex. I beg, have you come sleep for your side this night?
Omo, my babe, they around, though. But nothing do you. Try call celebrity landlady.
Guy, serious now. Celebrity kini.
Celebrity landlady. See, with celebrity landlady, you fit turn landlord with just 100k every week.
Nah, lie.
I go lie for you.
Not true. You can own your dream land with just 100k weekly. Yes, with Celebrity Landlady Save to Buy plan, that property where you dream of will be your own just like that. Oh, a Save to Buy plan allows you to pay for your dream land instrumentally, easy, flexible, and all yours. A Save to Buy plan is convenient and safe. Start now and become a proud property owner in top locations like Otulu Asaba, behind Ogwashuku Polytechnic, Admiralty Drive, Ibusa, and Isela Asaba. For more information, call us now on 0701 018 8042 or 0903 844 9351. Celebrity Landlady, turning you into a proud homeowner.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. Where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
AFM. We give you more than properties. We give you opportunities. From Nkwele to Umuya, Auka to Umweri, from Oba to Agleri. Mbako to Oji River, from Emene to Asaba, Aba to Abuja, Lagos to Imo. AFF is planning possibilities in over 20 states across Nigeria with free inspection. We are in Alkanai table water, purity in every drop. We are in wine, the refreshment for your soul. Get 5% interest in just 3 months or grow it to 20% in 1 year. No story, just favor.
You register with Obelego. I get just one plot of land in
AFF Landport Global Estate Limited, where favor meets opportunity. Visit our physical office at number 56 Tony Ume Street, Awada, or call us now on 070 6567 6913. AFF Ujane Mogo.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. Where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Now we head over to Facebook to see what you have to say.
Okay, so we have this very post from Chinedu Mora, and he says, thank you for your profound analysis on politics. I believe PDP could have been to infiltrate APC, but presently seemed impossible. I'm of the opinion that coalition ADC should extend their hands at this time through value to foreign government to get their true stand on this, especially Great Britain. Then he goes on to say they cannot be bought over as have great influence on Nigerian politics. Okay, we have plenty of your posts here, but I have to go to others. Master SJP says, good morning, Radio Nigeria. Okay, I think that should be Nigerians should please pray for Nigeria security. Security is for all. And then James Okigod comes to say, okay, it's mischievous to say that P2B is politically intolerant. It's a smear campaign against him. As a governor, he gave opposition vehicle to campaign. Should we say Soludo is politically intolerant for pulling opposition billboards? And Ezra Hillary says, okay, he cannot tell herdsmen, the killers, the dangerous citizens like them, not to enter a door or even pursue them out. It is P2B, somebody above his status and everything that he can ban from entering a door. And he says it's impossible though. He is just ranting. Obi is like a certain brand everywhere you go. All right. Then this one says Ojeku Ben Some Tojuku says AIRS was quick to clarify the public on the Samila tax saga. I hope they maintain the same energy when it comes to verifying other accurate claims he dropped. I see what they are doing. Okay.
All right, then. This is where we get to take down the curtain. Thank you for your calls and your contribution. Gentlemen, let's take your last words for today, starting with you, Tony.
I think let's quickly address someone who asked a question, who said, or who asked, which language would these subjects be written? Bible has different languages. You can read Bible in Igbo, you can read Bible in Hausa, you can read Bible in Yoruba, you can also read Bible in
French, you name it.
So can't we do the things like this? If you can translate Bible to so many languages, we can also translate physics, chemistry. Those who are good in Igbo translate to Igbo, those in Yoruba translate in Yoruba, and then you have it in Hausa. Why we can have it in different languages? So it's not about having it as a common language. No, we can translate in many languages. So I don't want to just react to some Facebook posts, but most times it's always good to play down. We are here to give facts and figure. If you demand for any fact, we're gonna give you. If I make any statement, just all you need to do is to fact or ask for an instance. I'll dish it out.
Okay, so talking about this translation, I hope you know that in Nigerian, Mazokoro actually did translation of physics
in Igbo.
He did it, but because he has not been celebrated. Now, you see, in this whole hig about whether what Peter B said was correct or not, let me tell you the only thing I took away from that statement, which was issued by AIRS. What I took away from there is the improvements that Anambra has recorded in the IGR. From 1.5 billion to 2, and now from that report that in May 2025 Anambra raked in 10.5 billion. That's a massive.
That's like a 1,000% increase. Yeah, that's it. Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Definitely the Polity is going to make a return tomorrow. And like I would always say at the end of every edition of the Polity, the Nigeria you seek and desire starts with you playing your role as a responsible citizen. Do what is right. Until tomorrow, my name is Chisom Chinedu. Good morning.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. Where authentic news and entertainment